All right, so had the trash going, and it's pretty well died down for now. So in the process of this dying down and going out, I want to give you guys a knife review. So let me show you what I got. Now, I'm kind of excited about this one. It is an Orshelins 9-inch hunting knife, and it is 420 stainless steel, and it's got the coating, the powder coating on it. And this is a I'm reading it here off the back here. It's a 4.5-inch clip point blade, black suede leather sheath, and what they call a TPR handle. So let me open this up for you guys and get a little bit closer look at this. This knife, I'm kind of excited about it because it looks kind of neat. So, and yes, I'm using a Mora knife to open this up. So, the way this thing looks is kind of neat. It kind of reminds me of the Camelus drop point. Now, what I don't quite get is this particular blade style has always been known to me as a drop point, but what they're calling it is a clip point. Now, like I said, I'm not familiar with that. Like I said, I've always only known these as drop points, so I don't know if this is a new terminology for drop points or what. That I'm not familiar with. Now, one thing I have noticed is that this vein here is not on this side, so that's kind of unique. But that handle, what they call it, the TPR, yeah, TPR handle, it's got a little bit of a slip resistance to it, so it'd be good for water if you're in that area of water. Has a little spot for a lanyard, wrist lanyard. So apparently it's not full tang because you definitely can't see it across here on either side. So apparently it's not full tang. The sheath, let's go ahead and check that out. Oh well, no, this is not suede leather. It has the appearance of it. It is, what did it say? Just a black sheath. They didn't specify. So actually has this sheath pattern is kind of unique because it actually has it come up. It's actually kind of already a high and tight type of sheath here, but this material, like I said, it doesn't feel like leather, but it has the appearance of it. It has some kind of deal on the bottom, some kind of nylon cover on the bottom, but it has this wrap around here. But I don't know, this here is kind of different. Don't usually see these with sheaths. So this knife though, it feels comfortable. It feels pretty comfortable, and right out of the package, it's sharp, reasonably sharp anyways. Probably cut paper pretty easily. So let's go ahead and run this with the batoning, see how that does, and go from there. All right, so this wood that we're using, I don't know what kind of wood this is. It is aged, and it already has some natural cracking from the weather. So keep that in mind in the process of this test. Go ahead and try it out. Well, seems to be going pretty good, but most things like this usually do. So I'm going to do another one. Let's go a little bit bigger here. So yeah, this one has a pretty big crack in it already. So not much. I'm not sure how much of that last log I got. So Ah, you're on the fixed spot. On the tip. There we go. So that's not bad, really. Let's do peel one little guy off there. All right. So let's go ahead and look at this. Edge retention seems to be pretty good. I don't feel any curling at all. Might be a little bit down here, but the grunt of it doesn't seem to be curling. Now you can already tell that this paint's already kind of peeling off a little bit, this coating. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I guess it happened no matter what. Let's go ahead and do a feather stick. All right, so I'll just try it out. It's going about as expected. Seems a little tough though, but it is doing the job though. Doing pretty good, I think. It's not as feathery, but that might be because of the wood here that I'm using. It's not as punky or wet. It's pretty dry. I mean, we did have dry, wet spell, but this stuff still, it dried out pretty quick. So take that as you wish, but it does seem to be chunking it out more than slivers anyways. But I think this stuff here would be enough to try to burn. But like I said, take this as you will. Now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the ferro rod. All right, so I am kind of worried about this coating, whether it be a barrier for this, but I think after a few passes it'll be just fine after that. So let's go ahead and try it out. I guess just the one. It's striking out pretty good. Even the short little ones, short strokes, is doing it pretty good. Well, kinda. So bigger, longer strokes are definitely getting it. Seems like it kind of wants to curl over a little bit, and the one I did last month, it was really curling over, but once I had straightened it up on its edge, it did pretty good. But this one, like I said, it's kind of wanting to, but it's not bad. So it might be that because of that little bit weaker steel, but it's definitely sparks. So overall, it actually doesn't do that bad. And pretty well like this design. I mean, just the way it looks and everything. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's not a full tang. But that is only because that is my preference on knives, is a full tang. And this here is really different, considering it's not on both sides, because usually if it's on one side, it's on the other, like your K-bars and your RH36 knives. And like I said, this looks very, very similar to the Camoless drop point, except I think it actually drops down a little bit more. And that one of the Gerber blades I have is very similar, but like I said, it still kind of arches down. So them calling this a clip point, I think is what they called it. Like I said, I don't know if that's just a new name or that's just something I wasn't familiar with on names. Like I said, this has always been a drop point to me. So let's go ahead and jump up and give you guys what I think about this, an overall view of it. Now, I will have to apologize about my voice, because I've been a little bit sick recently, and I have a tendency of losing my voice quite a bit whenever I do get sick, so I will have to apologize for that. But overall, this is actually not that bad of a knife for what it is, and it's actually one of the better, cheaper knives I've came across, I do believe. with some exceptions, but it's definitely pretty comfortable. The handle's pretty thin, but it is conforming. So working with it was actually pretty nice. The coating I think is only the only major issue with this knife, because it does seem to want to wear off pretty easily. So that is a small downfall because of rusting issues. And the sheath is actually pretty nice, but then again, it is very unique, and I haven't quite seen one like this before, because it did conceal that it was a suede, but I said it concealed that, because like I said, I thought originally that it was a suede sheath, but it's not. I tried to figure out what this is, but I can't recall what it was. I can't recall know what kind of sheath this is. But this more or less a hip cover. It's kind of neat, and definitely new for sheaths. At least from the ones I've dealt with, they're new. So the only thing I don't like about it is how thin the material is. But they do put in these little, what I call safety rivets. More or less, it kind of helps keep the more active places from the knife puncturing through and cutting itself. So overall, it's actually not that bad. And actually, I'm probably end up trying to carry this on the weekends and whatnot, and actually try to use it more frequently. And I try to do that with all my knives that I do. So I usually try to carry them for the month and go from there. Usually, but not all. On my scale, this is probably an easy 8 out of 10. And so I would probably recommend this knife, especially for one that would be a pretty well universal knife for out in the field, for processing even to some extent. But I think this is a pretty well rounded knife. Now if you guys want to check out our other sites, we have YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you guys want to check those out, they're linked in the description below. And going to go ahead and jump onto the video verse. We are doing up through Hebrews chapter 10, doing verses 32 through 39. Sorry for the smoke. Trash is still burning. So chapter 10, verses 32 through 39. It says, "Remember the earlier days when, after you had been enlightened, you endured a hard struggle with sufferings. Sometimes you were publicly exposed to taunts and afflictions, and at other times you were companions to those who were treated that way. For you sympathized with the prisoners and accepted with joy the confiscation of your possessions, because you know that you yourselves have a better and enduring possession. So don't throw away your confidence, which has a great reward. For you need endurance, so that after you have done God's will, you may receive what was promised. For yet a very little while, the coming one will come and not delay. But my righteous one will live by faith, and if he draws back, I have no pleasure in him. But we are not those who draw back and are destroyed, but those who have faith and are saved." And that's Hebrews chapter 10, verses 32 through 39. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see y'all in the next one.